There we
Claro,
go.
amigo.
All right, should we get started?
Here again.
Was that a yes? All
Yeah,
right, let's
that was
do it. Welcome everyone. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, Matthew, for joining us.
yeah. Thanks for
Uh, Honestly, this is a tough topic. I don't think everyone can talk about retail. I think retail is something that, especially, in this, everyone talks e-commerce, everyone's constantly talking about channels. Man, getting to talk about actual being on shelves is terrifying. But you know what? If we're doing it, we can talk about it. So let me to give you a quick rundown. I'm gonna volunteer and go ahead and go first. I'm gonna talk about something very specific, which is what we need to cover to be ready to be on retail shelves in Mexico, and sort of how that might differ from what a lot of us may be familiar with. Then Taylor's going to be going ahead with working with giants like Costco, Walmart, and CVS, and then Matthew's going to be talking about scaling your business on Walmart, which is going to be infinitely valuable. At the end, we're going to have some Q&A for anyone that has questions about the topic we talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and go first and just go very briefly into what how do I share my I feel like this is such a, there we go, Google Chrome. All right, we're gonna go ahead and close this and this and just go very big on this. How do I make this bigger? Am I a complete fool? This is what I get for exporting it as a PDF. You know what? We're going to make it work. We're just going to do this. Don't export it as PDF, guys, but it's better to do that than to later have some issues with the with the website won't load or slides won't share. So all right.
Yeah.
A little bit of background about myself before we get started. I'm focused on bringing brands into Mexico. The way we're doing this is by being the importers on record, being the logistics partners, the warehousing partners, the marketing agency. We're kind of taking over the whole deal, right? So we're dealing with a lot of brands right now that are trying to get into Latin American e-commerce, and from there sort of make the step by showing the demand into going, hello, Mr. Retailer, would you like to buy my product as well? Now, there's enough interest into this that we have since began carrying that out, and that's been a fantastic journey so far. But we ran into a whole load of roadblocks. And I will very openly say one of the primary things that stopped us originally from being able to carry this out was quite literally our products weren't ready or compliant with the Mexican market. And you're like, well, you were already selling it. Yes. So something you need to know about the Mexican market is that there are two forms of importing. There is a formal importation and an informal importation. Okay. Formal importing, and by the way, anyone that's ever ordered anything from Wish or Shein or AliExpress will know that you're not paying taxes on every single shipment you're getting, even into the US, right? You're not paying for customs. You're not going through the whole process. Why is that? Because anything under a certain quantity, the governments generally go, you know what, for the sake of use of ease, just bring it in. In Mexico, a lot of the expansions that we're carrying out, not all of them, were being done through informal importing, which is, listen, man, we're gonna pay our taxes, but we're gonna pay our taxes once we sell the product, and just don't worry about it. When you're dealing with retail, a lot of this changes. When you're dealing with the way you're communicating the product to the consumer is by physically looking at the product, a lot of this changes. So I'm gonna just very as quick as I can go through some of the things we need to consider if we're looking at entering a retail store in Mexico. All right. So there's a process, which is what I just briefly mentioned. We through the informal importing is just, hey man, here's your pallet, let me get it to you. Here's your truckload, let me get it to you. When getting ready for retail business, we have to go through the official process, which is we have to go through customs clearance. We have to have our documents in order, our labeling in order, right? We have to make sure that our compliance is in order. If I'm importing a supplement, I have to be able to show local regulations, local customs agents, customs authorities. This is my permit for selling this product. This is why it's approved, and this is how it's labeled in such a way. And we're going to get into the labels in a second, but we have to make sure that we're complying on the way in. We have to be paying our VAT on the way in. So already we have to have a proof of purchase on the way into the country. So first step is do things by the book to get on retail, because what's going to happen afterwards is, hey, I have a bunch of merchandise, Mr. Costco, can I sell it to you? And they go, sure, invoice us for it. And you're now left with the giant liability if these came up out of nowhere, and it's all profit, right? Which is just make sure your accounting's in order as well. All right. Second thing you got to make sure is that you're complying with COFEPRIS. If you are anything, the COFEPRIS is the equivalent of an FDA in the United States. Even if your product does not need to be authorized by COFEPRIS, but it falls within the category, you need to prove to the local authorities that you have the permission to handle these products and sell these products. They ask you things like, where are you storing them? They ask you things like, how are you labeling them? They ask you things like, what is the maximum, what is your recommended daily dose, and does it exceed our maximums? There's a lot of work that needs to be done before you even start thinking of coming to or expanding to a different country. That is, can I sell this product? Now, online, a lot of retailers, a lot of resellers, a lot of e-commerce sellers are getting away with lying. And it's not great. And, it's not great for the Mexican consumer. It's not great for us. It's not great for anyone that's trying to do things by the book. But they're getting around a lot of these regulations. There is no way you're going to get around that if you're being on retail shelves. When your primary form of communication to your consumer is them picking the product and reading it, that label has to comply with all the local norms and it has to be by the book. Okay. So COFEPRIS absolutely has to happen for anyone that qualifies. Wow, this is a lot like this slide. So again, keep talking about regulations. Product labeling. We're used to ugly white over labels, products. I think I have an example right here. This is so I bought this here in Mexico. It comes with my background is blurred. And we make that unblur. We get these ugly white over labels that go over this beautiful design that does exist. That just has the relevant information. It has imported by, it has local ingredients, and it has, who do I call if this is bad? That's one. Packaging must be in Spanish, right? We must have an invoice for it, and we have to stick to what we claim we are and aren't making in any promotional material we are doing. Okay. Again, a lot of the reason I'm focusing so much on this is because a lot of e-commerce sellers are not used to playing by the rules. So, all right, this is approval process. We don't need to go into that. It's going to take infinitely too much time. But basically, hey, COFEPRIS, I'm allowed to sell this product, and this product is legally allowed to be sold, are both the sides that you need to take care of before you sell it on retail shelves. Okay. Every single product that's imported into Mexico has to comply with some sort of norm, right? They're called in Mexico, they're called norms. And the reason I want to bring this up is because I want everyone here to be able to check what products, what norms does my product have to qualify for. For that, the government offers a very handy tool called the HS code lookup. And basically the HS code database here in Mexico that allows us to, by your harmonized system code, figure out what you have to comply with depending on where it's coming from. Okay. NOMs are basically the end all be all for how we have to comply with the Mexican market. And if you're going to be on retail shelves, you have to be dealing with every single one of these. Some important ones, 050 is really important. It's just how we set up these labels. And again, regulatory partners can take care of this for you. But you just got to make sure you get it right, because what happens very often is, hey, I did it myself. Hey, this is all wrong. We can't import. We had to redo it. So trust me when I'm telling you this. This is a little bit of a pain, but has to be done. O50 is really important in case anyone's just trying to very briefly look into it. As it tells you what like percentage of the size, like the font has to be, how legible it has to be, the color, blah 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 blah. 051 is really good for prepackaged foods. It's something we're consistently complying for. So if anyone's here that's going to comply with COFEPRIS, if everyone's here looking at importing or exporting, or being on retail shelves for foods, prepackaged foods, look at 051. And by the way, GPT can just translate it to English for you, so you don't have to be worried about what that looks like. Yeah, this doesn't matter. I'm going to start wrapping up here. I don't want to talk about that. Listen, the point is, okay, to be on retail shelves, just use general rule of thumb, which is, will whoever is the retailer get in trouble for the way I'm complying with things? Will they send me the product back or will they have to relabel because we messed it up? Work with local partners, comply with the rules. This is not e-commerce. And yeah, very quick to the point. Do we have any questions? I skipped too many slides. I thought I was over time. I was like, oh no, I tend to talk so much. I was like, oh no, I got to skip through slides. I got to get through it. Hey, we made it through the 10 minutes, right, just about on time. Let's see. Stop sharing. Any hands? No. All right, no questions. I will take that as a resounding, I was really good at explaining.
You were
Let's
great.
see.
Amazing, Ramiro.
Thank you. The encouragement
Yeah,
was
very interesting. I never worked with Mexican retailers. Very interesting.
it's I'll tell you what, it's hard sometimes when you have to chase someone up like 7 times, like, hey, did you get my last email? Hey, did you get my last email? But
Yeah.
it's worth it. Only 11% of shopping is done through e-commerce in Mexico right now. So just gotta
Instead
make
of
sure.
being there, done that, I would say I am there, I'm doing it. It's just what you mentioned, the exact same thing.
It's the
Yeah,
same
the
thing.
follow-up. Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm trying to make us both money, please. Like, please.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Please, Taylor, go ahead with yourself.
My turn. Okay.
Yes, please.
Hey, okie dokie. I'll try to make it in 2 parts. The first part will be how to work with US department stores, the best way, how to approach, what to do, what you need to prepare, what you need to think about. And then I want to dedicate a couple of minutes to do something that usually I do not do on webinars because trying to bring value to the community, I'll try to talk about the psychological side of things with retailers, buyers, and merchandise managers. So in brief, I've been working with retailers in the States for the last over 2 decades, I guess. And I had my own brand. I was producing for Walmart, been in Asia for 12 years. I have tons of stories from here to the sky. Nobody wants to hear them in my family, so I have to go on webinars and tell them to other people. Because you know how it is with kids. Dad, we heard that story. Not again. Anyway, but they're good stories. I don't tell them the naughty ones. Anywho, so for the last 8 years, after I closed my own brand, which was selling to 60 different department stores in the States, and when you say 60, think about it. Macy's used to have 826 stores. That was one department stores. TJ Maxx, who we worked with, had 4,200. Those, so if I can count 5 or 6 of them, that would come up to almost 10,000 physical stores where our products were at. This is a lot of pressure on the brand. It's a lot of pressure, and you have to know what you're doing. Sorry, you have to know. Yeah. So that's briefly about myself. And let me dive really, really fast into retail because I'm taking the assumption that people who is joining such a webinar are very intelligent, very advanced, and know how to take one thing that you say and spread it in their mind and afterwards in reality into 10 different other topics that they have to handle if they want to hit that small sentence that you said. Basically, the reason why I work with Amazon sellers, e-commerce sellers, especially Amazon sellers, because already have products, some kind of branding, they have inventory in the States, they understand, chain supply. So for me, it's very easy to connect them with buyers. The only thing that I see again and again is that most, if not all, those Amazon sellers do not really understand or know what retail is. So here are a couple of points, as I just said, that I'm gonna share with you guys. When you approach a buyer, you have to be super elegant. Being elegant means that you want to introduce your brand not as, think about a meal, okay? When you have a meal, you have the appetizer, then you have a glass of wine, then you have the meat. Then after a couple of minutes, or if not half an hour, you're gonna have something, maybe fruits. If it's too heavy, then cake. If that is heavy as well, something else like a coffee. That's exactly how it works. It's old school business, but it is very elegant. And what I'm saying here is that buyers do not want to see everything that you have on your first email to them. They want to have to be attached to it. They want to see if it's relevant for them. Let me give you a huge tip. They want to see themselves inside. So if you open your approach to them, whether if it's on LinkedIn, and it's very easy to find buyers on LinkedIn, I've said that many times on webinars, or by email, which is also not that difficult. What is very critical is not how to find a buyer, is not how to find the relevant retailer. You can search GPT or Google, which is better than GPT the way I see it, and you can find those things. But what you cannot find is a typical conversation with buyer, not to mention what the buyers are thinking. If I want to do business with you, Ramiro, or with you, Matthew, I want to know where you live, how you dress, what you think. What are you doing on your daily? Do you like sport? Are you not a sportive guy? Or do you like, vacations, ski? What's your type of person? I want to know all these things before I do business with you, because I want to shoot right into the target, make sure that I'm hitting correctly in a sense that it will be visible with appetite on your side. Okay, with appetite, I'm sorry. Anywho, you're going to have to do a very good brief to them. Think about it very good. Don't show them your catalog in the first place. You can show a link to your website, which is very necessary. Don't tell them a story about how the brand was born. Nobody cares what happened to you 10 years ago in Thailand on the beach with your wife and how you thought about the first product. They don't care, not at this stage. After you make millions, yeah, they would come for a coffee to hear that story. Second, you do want to have a catalog, PDF catalog, ready on your side in case they ask for pricing. When they ask for pricing, you don't want to tell them, write them down. Here is the retail price. Here's the wholesale price for this quantity, for that quantity. No, you're not talking with them as a Chinese factory. I apologize if it sounds rude. I could say whatever, Mexican factory, it doesn't matter. Any factory. Factories having their, quantity, price, language. This is not what it is. It's a story. It's a massage, okay? We're not running together. We are doing a massage to the buyer. We're trying to treat them nicely. They are observing how you are dealing with them from the very first email you shoot them. They're not asking you for pricing because they care about the pricing. They're asking you for pricing because they want to know how you serve it to them. Are you serving it on PDF nicely with images, a few attributes, wholesale price, retail price, boom, or you're going to shoot them an email, or the worst thing to do, send them an Excel chart. Nobody wants to see an Excel chart. I have an AI camera, which is giving me a hard time, and it's just flipping down, upside, whatever, whenever it wants. I don't like this AI thing. Anyway, you see that sometimes it moves because it's, I don't know, for whatever reason, starts to move by its own. Just raise your hand when my time is over, because I'm not really seeing the clock here. I didn't got my glasses here.
I would never stop you. I am so invested in your storytelling.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But you can stop me as well, Matthew, because I don't want to take a second from your time.
No. Just unless there's another course to the meal you want to add, but yeah.
No, meat, cake, fruits,
what's the
it's
aperitif?
enough. Yeah, exactly. The appetizer is the best part. So you're getting excited. So yeah, the catalog and the brief and how to do that. And then you have to know who you're talking with. If you're talking with Walmart, it's not the same language you talk with Nordstrom or with Barnes and Nobles. They would ask you different type of questions because of the nature of their business. And I'm not saying that you need to learn now 10 languages or 100 languages. I'm just saying that Walmart are specifically oriented by numbers. They are data driven. They are huge. You know how it is. All those buyers, not to insult anyone, they are, small screws inside the system. Well, when it comes to Barnes and Nobles, for instance, they don't have that many stores, that many buyers, and a buyer there is sitting on a huge amount of money to purchase, huge budget, it's automatic thing. And they are different in a sense of, this is not the waiter, this is the chef you're talking with. Okay, if we're going back to the meal example. Now, all these things are nice. I just gave you a few hints how to talk with them and how to do, other things with them. But if I would go to the other part, which I'm now going to try to end up in 2 minutes because I don't have time left. When I'm talking about psychology, so psychologic side, I'm not talking about the buyers, I'm talking about you. You are not an Amazon seller. I'm hearing that all over I'm asking people, when we start talking on Zoom, they want to sell products. Before I even offer them my service, I'm saying, what are you doing? What is your business? I'm selling blah, blah, blah. I'm an Amazon seller, blah, 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 blah. No, you're not. Amazon is not yours. It belongs to Bezos. He's the guy who's making Amazon money, not you. You're riding the wave, that's true. So what are you? You are a brand owner. And the brand doesn't matter here because you know what they say, and I think it's really true. Do not fall in love with your brand. Just don't. Because if you fall in love with him, you might get hurt. It might hurt you because it might let you down, the brand, because it's just a brand, it's not a person. And if you're taking emotional on a brand, then what would you say when it happens with your girlfriend, wife, or extra wife? Anyway, so what I'm saying here is that you are a brand owner. As a brand owner, the best thing that you want to do with your brand is to expand and explore. If you are on Amazon, it's great, but this is just one station. And all of us knows how it is. If Bezos' team decides that now you need to have an elephant on the corner of your page, and if you don't have it, the next day you're out of the game. So, oh my God, I didn't have the elephant. Oh, I forgot the podcast about the elephants. No, man, you need to have more channels. So you're going to have Mexico with Ramiro, probably Walmart with Matthew, and others with whomever. I'm not talking about me. I didn't come here to publish myself. I came here for the added value for the community. So what I'm trying to say here and wrap it up with the last sentence is that you have a brand, you have the tools, you have everything. Listen to this. Amazon online, the entire online in the United States is only 15% of the market, 1.5. That means that 85% of the market is something that you're not even looking at. You don't even know it exists. You don't care. And people tend to think that Amazon is 85%. No, it's not. Look at the USA government statistic websites. They're all over the place. It's very easy to find, IS, whatever. And you will see the numbers I'm talking about. I've been verifying these numbers myself time after time because I could not understand how come all these online sellers are not looking at the 85%. Now, retail is around 50 to 60% because you have TV channels, magazines, you have a lot of things in the retail industry. But when I'm talking about my business or my thing that I do in life, I'm talking about brick and mortar, physical stores, not 1, not 10, not 30, 100 and above. Some of them even 16,000 like Dollar Tree, but that's another topic. So believe in your brand. And sorry for adding another sentence, very, very important. I'm seeing this all the time. Look at this. If I can share my screen, I don't know if I can. I was just looking at this email before I jumped into this call. Yeah, okay. I was just looking at this email. Look at this. We just emailed one of our brands to someone at Staples, which is huge. So here's the question. It's a small brand. It's a tiny brand. They don't even make $1 million a year. I doubt if they make $500,000. Do you have dropship direct to customer capabilities? Now, my team answered and everything, but what I'm telling you here is not the dropship because that's not interesting. I'm telling you that once you go and dropship with Staples and they see that it's going nice, then you can go back to them and say, hey, can I talk with the omni-channel buyer? I want to go to your stores as well. And probably it's going to happen. Some of the buyers would directly talk with you about the stores. That's, for me, the marketplaces is just a headache because you mentioned Shane, I have access to Shane like nothing. I'm talking with them. They are buzzing me every day to bring them brands, but just example, OfficeDepot.com and so on. But the stores is what I'm interested in. And I'm just showing you that a very, very small brand offer nicely their products in a manner of good language, good conversation, just trying to tempt the buyer. It works. So don't be afraid. Just do it, as Nike said. Sorry for taking so much time.
No. That was wonderful. That was wonderfully interesting. And I think, for someone that, on my end, that's starting the retail journey, just getting a couple of the first yeses and getting a couple of the first mistakes, like we've got, it's a new program to us that we're executing on. I think that resonates with a lot of what we're finding, that I think a lot of the mistakes we had some buyers just stop responding to us, and I think that's I didn't
listen, Ramiro, I have to tell you something about it. You mentioned emails. We are sending probably between 5 to 25,000 emails a day.
Oh wow.
Now you can imagine, and we have a lot of system to scrap them properly and to make sure that we're not sending to failed emails. We still have 1 or 2% of failed email, like Postmaster.
Of course.
But I think the majority of them is negative response.
Yeah.
Now, when I say negative, if the buyer tells me I sent it to my team and if they're interested, I'll get back to you. For me, it's negative because he's not saying to me, he doesn't tell me, hey, show me samples, show me pricing.
Yeah.
But that 5 to 10% of positive one brings you so much business. You don't even think about 90%. You don't care.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
That's a wonderful mentality, I think. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say, like, that was a really interesting storytelling. That was really good for great value for whoever's listening. So anyway, Matthew, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but you got to follow that up.
Well, there are no courses to add. You covered them all, right, on that 10-course meal, Taylor. But yeah, look, I think I spent the last 5 years at Walmart, guys. I was an advertising marketing leader at Cool Brands for a long time. Got into the tech space, and then was recruited by Walmart to come in and launch their retail media network, Walmart Connect, which I think you guys know well. We took that to about 3 billion, and then I moved into e-commerce to also launch the third-party marketplace, right? So I got a front row seat to the experiment, and actually got to focus specifically on commercialization and also like getting close to the Amazon e-commerce seller community, right? Like what events, which influencers, which educators, like what's the omni-channel version, of that big experiment. So appreciate where a lot of you guys are coming from. I think, this topic, the spin I took on this is less about like how to like I sort of backed up from, okay, you're not on shelves yet. How do you get on shelves? Because I think the message there has changed, right? And I saw it change while we were building Marketplace, because the message became start on Marketplace, right? Start on Marketplace. And so like the days where, you might decide to buy a booth, at Expo West, if you're in the, beauty or health space, or whatever the trade show version of your category is, right? And just hope that, kind of Walmart comes by the booth, and then, then you can whip out your 30-second elevator pitch using Taylor's tips, right? I'm not saying that doesn't happen anymore, but, the strategically, Marketplace just becomes this nursery and laboratory, right? For buyers to be able to look at actual data, right? And so I did prepare some slides, which I think we can go through quickly, because they're actually more about like, how do you win on Walmart Marketplace as a way of signaling, to the 1P buyers, right, that they should sort of pay attention. So I'll share, we'll roll through it quickly. And then we can talk if anybody has questions, but just 10 tips in 10 minutes. And I now own my own consultancy, leveraging AI and helping retailers and manufacturers start to implement AI technology to scale. So, that's something I got to do at Walmart, when we started implementing Scale and Lily and Echo and Infinite, and just, really low fruit solutions for this exact use case, right? I'm on Amazon and I've got, 1,000 items, and I want to experiment with Walmart, but I can't task the resources, to take their eyes off the Walmart or the Amazon business, for not another thing that's not a sure thing yet, right? So tech has really enabled folks to optimize because it's a different ecosystem, right? And so bringing the right assortment might sound obvious, but many of you guys are familiar with tools like Helium 10. Jungle Scout also now implemented a Walmart specific solution that just helps you overlay your assortment, onto what's working and where the gaps are on Walmart, because it's still kind of early days. I mean, I think they're up to about 200,000 sellers now, but you guys know Amazon is, in the millions and in the hundreds of millions of items. And so there are a lot of gaps, right, where 1P teams are not, bringing certain micro categories, or particularly in stuff that's seasonal, or demand spikes like COVID and things like that, a buyer on a mod cycle, hasn't planned for 6 months ago or a year ago. So, the flexibility that marketplace provides the merchants is huge. And that basically, number one, is just do the work to figure out what items to bring, right? And don't pick your winners first because they've been winning on Amazon. It's a fundamentally different algorithm, and so that is not going to work. So Walmart has its own assortment growth dashboard you can look at, but then again, if you're familiar with these other tools in the ecosystem, those will be really valuable as well. Once you've done that, the OLQ, from Amazon, LQS on Amazon is OLQ, offer listing quality on Walmart. And it's similar in some ways, but the weights and measures are a little bit different than others. And two of the largest are your placement of keywords and the length of your PDPs and the titles. Your Amazon approach will not work on Walmart. Simplest way to think about it is Walmart likes small, concise titles, and throw the rest of it in the PDP listing. And use their keyword analytics or your own to really choose keywords wisely, because again, shopping behaviors are different and the algo prioritizes them differently. Imagery wise, you need a lot of big, beautiful images on Walmart. We put a lot more weight against images when I was there. And it's because of customer experience, right? End of the day, we want the customer to know as much as they can about the product that's accurate and see it, right? And that obviously helps drive conversion, reduce returns, et cetera. So do the hard work. And this is where a lot of the AI tools that are out there can help that. Detailpages.com from Justin Maynor is a great one. Infinite, I mentioned, for imagery. There are tools that are part of the, like Hex, like that are part of the Amazon kind of monthly account management suite now. So you can dig into that and see if it might make sense to partner on those or use the tools directly on Walmart. This might sound obvious again, but I think specifically for Amazon sellers where if you underprice your Amazon offer on Walmart, right? Which Walmart would love, because Walmart, loves to have the lowest price in the market, both on 1P and 3P. But you're going to get slammed or put in the doghouse from Amazon or deprioritized if you beat your Amazon price on Walmart. So there's a few ways to do that. Again, there's some external tools, but Walmart has a repricer tool that's scanning not Amazon, but several other ecosystems, and helps you, pick a ceiling and a floor. And then we'll automatically float the price where it needs to help win the buy box, right? So I wouldn't depend on this, completely, but I would definitely arm it and pay attention to, how those prices are flowing. Essentially, where this will leave you is you will meet your Amazon price, but you can set it so that you don't beat it and you don't get placed in the doghouse. Number 4, again, reviews. If you're starting a new business on Walmart, if you've locked out your category on Amazon, you've got 10,000 reviews, you're untouchable in your organic ranking. You can't necessarily port those directly over, right? But what you can do is syndicate any reviews that are on your website over to Walmart. And then you can also use their accelerator program, which is a dirty word on Amazon because they had a bad experience and sellers had a bad experience with fake reviews, bot reviews, et cetera. But Walmart has a program that incentivizes customers to give reviews, and it incentivizes through essentially future credit, Walmart coupons, deals, promotions, on products. So they're real people who really bought your product, who have an incentive to give you a fair review. And again, so I would use Accelerator to start generating reviews. I would definitely pull in the reviews that you have, because this is what's going to feed into your in a big way to your OLQ. This is, again, obvious, but I think for folks who are experienced with either drop shipping or certainly FBA, you have really high quality, high confidence on sort of, your production needs, how much to ship, where and when, right? Sort of which lane to pick, maybe even from port. So WFS is not quite there yet, but they're getting much, much better. But essentially, it just allows you to inbound on pallets to Walmart's own facilities. And then from there, it operates, very much like FBA. And so helps you stay in stock for sure. But then also, and this is key, because you're going to be giving that 2-day or better delivery promise, and you're going to show up as fulfilled by Walmart. We see that as a confidence booster for buyer, meaning customer, which shows a huge spike in conversion. So obviously, just like FBA, you pay a fee for this, but it more than pays for itself in terms of the increased conversion and reduced returns. If they do return, WFS is going to take care of it along with customer service. Big input into your OLQ as well. Brand portal, very much like the one on Amazon, but we get a lot of questions about brand owners who want to kick off resellers, for example, who are bringing offers on their products. If it's an authorized reseller, Walmart's not going to do that really, except in some particular categories like apparel, luxury, others where they've anointed specific distributors or resellers who are basically have exclusive rights to resell, just because of the model of fashion and apparel. But in most cases, you're going to be going into brand portal to basically take ownership of your brand equity, your IP, et cetera, and also correct any old imagery that's coming up, and correct any product listing, particularly product ingredients or other information. We see this a lot with old, out-of-date products, right? Where there've been small changes or big changes, but essentially, this is where you don't even have to be a seller, actually. If you're just a brand owner and you want to make sure, look, resellers are selling my product, but I just want to make sure it shows up correctly, then you can do that in brand portal as well. That ultimately is going to feed into your brand reputation, which, if you are a seller, is going to feed into your organic ranking. This is relatively new. Obviously, Amazon sellers have a lot of history of pointing from Google through SEM, or even more recently pointing TikTok ads and content to their Amazon shops. Obviously, you can't do that anymore. You have to open up your own TikTok shop. But now Walmart Marketplace has a specific program where you can be buying sponsored ads through Google, through Walmart, using Walmart's data, right, and Walmart's customer behavioral analytics, right. So they see a huge return on that, and that's just a way for you to help Walmart. Honestly, if you're looking to get into stores and you're looking to make your case, through Marketplace, one of the greatest ways you can do that is to help Walmart bring customers to Walmart, right? So, you scratch their back, the scratch is yours, and ultimately it's just going to drive your acceleration. They've done a lot in Walmart Connect since I was there. They've really scaled up their offering there, but operates very much like Amazon ads. And of course, it's a pay-per-click model where you can choose automation or manual. You can choose auto bidding. They've made a lot of updates to the grid lately where, actually not so lately, but federated the grid so that you don't have to be organically in the first 128. They'll actually look broader. And you can basically, if you're not organically in the 128, you can still bid, and you can also try to conquest. But in terms of format, they've expanded to, video formats, carousels, just a lot of ways to basically help you win bid, but also then show more of your relevant products based on the keywords, right? So obviously it's a performance model, it's ROAS based, and so you see the immediate return. They also have a lot of partners lit up, from Carbon6 to PackView to all sorts of third parties. So you can stack your campaigns right up next to your Amazon campaigns, compare performance, and reallocate budgets accordingly. I think there's a huge stable, of partners out there that are on terms with Walmart, right? So you can go to Walmart Marketplace, check out their list of solution providers. This is just a small snapshot of a few, but I don't have to tell this audience, all the different sorts of capabilities that they can support you with. But I will tell you that all of these guys and more are on terms with Walmart, which means Walmart is incentivized to promote them, and they are incentivized to bring you as sellers right into programs. So if you get yourself on terms and join a Fiverr or a Davinci micro fulfillment, for example, it basically is another kind of notch and feather in your cap for getting consideration for Walmart's special programs, right? And last is just, and this is where we land, which is like, this is about getting on the shelves. I started with saying, look, well, the merchants, if you just cold call them or rush the stage at an event or whatever, 99 times out of 100, maybe 999 out of 1,000, they are literally just going to say, talk to marketplace, right? And so this is why I focused on like, how do you win on marketplace? But I also want to show you that doing well on marketplace does get you considered, right? And so Walmart has one program called Open Call, which is for items made, grown, or assembled in the US. You can check out Bradley Sutton's Serious Sellers podcast episode where Michael Lebhar, who's both a seller and an agency owner, talks specifically about his experience starting on Walmart Marketplace and then basically getting chosen at Open Call to be pulled into, I think, maybe 3,000 stores or more. So, it's not an anomaly, it happens. But, I was there when we shifted the Open Call program to a marketplace first program, right? So you don't necessarily have to be on marketplace to invest in Open Call and register, but you're going to have a huge leg up if you do, right? The bottom one is on a different brand called Clean Cult, which is if you're in the DTC space, right, and you're hitting the wall on margins and you're just, sort of like maxing out and you need to expand channels. DTCs have seen a lot of success with getting into Walmart, starting in marketplace as well. So Clean Cult, sustainable cleaning product that invented a technology that's essentially leak-proof cartons for laundry detergent, right? And started on marketplace, grew so rapidly there that within 9 months of being in marketplace, they were scooped up by stores, right? And they had an exclusive launch, and they're still gunning it to this day. So I focus mainly on like, how do you win a marketplace as a vehicle for basically, let me stop share, guys. As a vehicle for getting into stores. If you guys have specific questions about stores, I will tackle those as well. I'm trying to stop share here. There we go.
I mean, first of all, Matthew, that was crazy and insightful. I'll say one thing, which is I think a lot of us know Amazon, and we're consistently wondering, like, all right, how do we transfer the success to Walmart? Obviously, Walmart has been making noise over the past couple of years, but clearly it's getting to a point where enough people are going, hey, all right, how do I get on it? But also, how is it different? So I think that was really, really insightful. Without even considering the part that is make enough noise on Walmart Marketplace, that's how you can get a lot easier on the shelves. Like, I think that is a wonderful pipeline. Just continuing along those thoughts, though, I know Amazon, I don't know Walmart. How can I consider my audiences to be different? Like,
Yeah.
if I may just so boldly ask a question.
I don't think the audience is different. I think the shopping behavior is different, right? And if you were to overlay, and we had these slides in our go-to-market, I mean, look, Walmart's huge, right? And actually the digital audience is about 2/3 the size of Amazon in the US, right?
Okay, that's wonderful.
So the pitch there is basically, you've got most of the same eyeballs as you do on Amazon, but you're competing like with a fraction of the number of sellers, right? So it's also not quite, but mostly an even playing field in terms of like they haven't given the 1P offers items a leg up over the 3P. That was some work that was done when I was there. Again, I will say it's not 100% there, but it's mostly there. It's not like a Target where that's not really a working open marketplace and they kind of pick the winners and pin them. It's like you really do have a chance to compete with 1P, but again, you got to bring it because again, 1P is bringing the best possible price, right? And so you got to have relevance there. But yeah, I think this is where you think like Walmart.com tends to have, obviously Walmart has a huge shopper base that they're a store shopper base that they're trying to always incentivize into ecom, and that's where you have the opportunity to get into specific, ecom only offers as a marketplace seller that are relevant, right, to store shopping visits. There's bundle opportunities. Seasonality, I think, is a little bit different, right? I mean, Amazon obviously has their big events, but Walmart has so much legacy, history on back to school, right, and Valentine's Day and Thanksgiving, and just think about like the most Americans live within 10 minutes of a Walmart store, right? 90% do, and most of them
Wow.
shop there. So like you're getting access to a shopper who has historically used Walmart for certain purchases. They're also shopping at Amazon, right? But they're kind of using Amazon as their default search engine for kind of
Yeah.
new behavior and discovery. Whereas with Walmart, they're focusing on staples, they're focusing on, seasonality and occasions and things like that. And so you get an opportunity to also bring newness, I think, on Walmart because it is where they are in their build on Marketplace. Again, there's a lot of white space where 1P buyer just didn't come to terms, didn't make sense on margin. But you know what? Walmart's fine taking 10 or 15% of your sale, right? And so I think really do the due diligence to focus on not, that assortment and also the shopper behavior. And I think that's where those external tools like Helium 10 are going to help a lot.
Oh, I mean, that's a really good breakdown. Honestly, thank you. If I just one more,
Yeah.
you're opening my brain, and just for some context to everyone listening, we currently operate. GoAvance operates in Amazon and Mercado Libre and Walmart in Mexico, and so a lot of these questions are coming from a personal sort of
Yeah.
interest, which I hope is fine. I have an Amazon team built out. I have a Mercado Libre team built out. Different SEO best practices, different whatever. I don't have a Walmart team built up. What is, and let's say I don't currently have the bandwidth to get there. How do you recommend I go about, like, what's the single thing I can do that's going to have the most impact on my growth?
Yeah. I think it depends on your size of business, honestly. Again, like the challenge at Walmart Marketplace trying to get all the sellers to jump into our boat is exactly that. I mean, the complexity and of tools that you have in Amazon, and it's like, if you're so organic and you've locked out your category, it's like you've got a BD rep, at Walmart Marketplace literally telling you to move a resource and take eyes off Amazon Business, take eyes off a sure thing for a very risky bet.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're a sizable business and you can see where this is going, right? Because we all know, I mean, particularly out of the last earnings report out of Amazon, actually, you guys should check out Scott Oshman's. He did a takedown and play-by-play on that earnings report on his podcast, Always Off Brand, which again, if you're an Amazon seller, like he's former Amazon, like it's all about how you wake up in the morning, like giving 50%, the first 50% away to Amazon, right? And so I think you just got to balance that because you're going to keep more of your margin with Walmart, but your total volume is going to go down, right? So you might consider, hiring an agency. There's an increasing, there's a significant and increasing kind of group of agencies out there that do this. eComC with Vincenzo is great. Mikhail Chapnik has an agency. Vendo Commerce, we're Walmart specialists now getting into marketplace. And Diza with Erica McKittrick. There's tons. And Walmart Marketplace also has an agency program where you can go research and see like who are their preferred agents. So that's just like, again, if you've recovered some margin versus your Amazon business and you've got a little to pay somebody else who knows how to scale you quickly, like I think that's a pretty good option. And then just you got to really dive into the programs. Honestly, like you got to use all the accelerators. I just showed you a lot of them, but it's honestly like you're not going to replicate your Amazon business overnight on Walmart. I think that's really important to know. So it's like if you expect that and you hop over it in 6 months, you're like running at a huge loss. Like even if you've done all the stuff, um, you know, uh, it's kind of like I don't want to say it's a leap of faith, but it's basically like you just got to think about where you are on that journey and like how much investment now can you afford to make. The last point is, I mean, look, you're in the Mexican market, they've expanded internationally, and that works both ways as well. Like you can be a US based seller selling, using the marketplace to sell into market to Mexico, right? If you can ship there, and there are other markets, like UK and Chile and several in Europe and a few in Asia opening. So you can also sort of think about it as a way to expand internationally. And they're working really hard to actually stitch that together into one platform. I don't think they're there yet, but certainly like Amazon's not there either, right? Like, but if you get in now and you have eyes to like grow internationally, that's where they're headed, right? And that can also be a reason to invest the time and energy now, I would say.
All right, thank you. That was fantastic. I mean, I learned so much this webinar. I don't know about anyone else, but
You'd think I'd still work for Walmart, right? They're not paying.
right, right. It is. Before we head out, guys. Actually, I have one question for Taylor. I have one question, which I think everyone that's listening to this is gonna want to know. I found a buyer on LinkedIn, or I found a buyer's email. How do I invite them to dinner? How do
You
I
do
slide
just
my number across the table?
Well, you don't
you,
Walmart. You don't.
you
They cannot be wined and dined. I'll just say like that's a closed door. Don't even go there.
Oh no, I meant like I
exactly.
was following the dinner
Yeah, I
metaphor.
know.
That's my first email.
I'll respond. Yeah. So you don't literally
Yeah.
invite them to dinner because of just what Matthew mentioned about exhibitions. They don't even go to exhibitions anymore. Hardly going. But the way to attract them is as follows. Make sure the subject, or alternatively, if you're working on LinkedIn, the first words that you're saying are in their category. So if I'm sitting behind this table, okay, this is a table I'm behind. My name is Jack, and I am the supplements buyer at CVS. If you're going to shoot me an email that is about toys or about female products, I don't care. I don't even have the time to forward that. Maybe I will have later. But if you're going to mention supplements or similar terms in this email subject or in your LinkedIn message, that's going to catch my eyes. What's the second thing that you think going to catch your eyes? Let's say that I'm going to say something now that has to do with GoAvance, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's always confusing because advanced.
Yeah.
Once I said GoAvance, I'm getting your attention, Ramiro. Why? Because it's your company. If you would speak now for an hour, I might lose you for sometimes, get back to it. You know how it is. So, distractions, the kids are shouting, whatever it is in the office. But if you tell me Retail Empire, whoops, you caught me. If you say, hey, Taylor, oh, you caught me. It's my name. So when you use the category, use it with relationship to the CVS name or Costco name, Target, whatever it is. That's how you grab them to your dinner. This camera. You know what? Come here. Come here. Be with me. Come here. Let's go. Let's go to the beach.
I just gotta say something to like reiterate the point. Like literally, when I was at Walmart, I mean, on the ad side, right? It's like, if I went to L'Oreal's offices in New York for a planning meeting and they catered in a fruit tray, I had to give them an invoice to allow me to pay for my portion of the fruit tray. All right. So
Oh,
I just want to be super clear. Like it is when I say
Yeah.
it's a closed door, I mean it's illegal. They cannot do it. So like you got to do everything Taylor's saying to you, which is like you got to make your case, right? It's like if you make such an amazing case that they can't do anything but like listen and consider, right?
And so, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then retail terms, drop them retail terms. If you would tell Matthew back at those days, hey Matthew, we are EDI certified, but we have this, blah, blah. Once he said EDI certified, he has your attention because he knows that an online typical vendor would not even know what is EDI. Learn the language, talk the language. You go to Portugal, you speak Portuguese, and so on and so on. By the way, Matthew, I broke the law not only with Walmart, but also with a couple of others. And I was going to dinners frequently with those guys until I just got tired from that. At the end of the day, I'm close to my 5th decade now. So, you get tired at some point.
Yeah.
But anyway, you have to attract them.
that's honestly like that's exactly what I was looking for. I wasn't actually asking to take anyone out for dinner.
No, for sure.
Well,
Well, look, they'll go to dinner with you. You just got to split the bill.
you just gotta split the bill. You know what? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But no, I think that's anyone listening. The keywords to put at the top, like, hey, let me grab your attention, and hey, like, this entire game is percentage points. Like, entire life is percentage points. So, like, if the subject line of my email is going to give me a couple extra percentage points of success, like that is invaluable.
Here's a good point. It just crossed my mind. I have to say it. I apologize. we mentioned Chinese manufacturers or manufacturers in general and how they speak with you as a buyer because you're buying from them for your business. And now you know that the retail buyers do not want to hear that language, right? So if they don't want to hear that language, here it is. If you go to China and the manufacturer is hosting you in their factory, whatever happens, even if you fight over whatever or not doing business, they will take you to dinner. That's how they do. That's how Chinese manufacturers are doing. Now think about those manufacturers coming to shows in the States or hosting people from TJ or Walmart, insisting them to come to a dinner. Now, as Matthew just mentioned, they do not come to dinner. They don't want it. It's a law. It's different. Now it's a contributing laws between so you don't want to play that game. You want to be in the middle saying, hey, I'll handle the manufacturing side. And here I'm going to present you something that literally works, a machine. That's my brand.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh God, invaluable advice, guys. This is I think one of the webinars that should by merit have the most views ever. Like this was fantastic, guys. Listen,
Amazing.
we're about to hit time. I don't want to take any more of your time. I just want to say I really appreciate you guys coming in. Oh, Chaim raised their hand. But they're not here anymore. Oh, there they are. Chaim, could you type your question in the questions section? I don't know if we can, or can we? I've never clicked the allow to talk. I feel, yeah, feel a little bit. Should we click it? Should we try it live on air? If this goes
the actual name is Chaim, not Chaim.
Oh, it's Chaim. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Just join. Will there be a recording? Yes, absolutely. The recording will be sent out as soon as this webinar is over and it's finished uploading. Chaim, I'm so sorry for mispronouncing your name. And yes, you'll get that recording because yeah, this was a fantastic webinar. Guys, thank you so much. Y'all have
Thanks for having us.
Wonderful day, wonderful weekend.
You guys.
And really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ramiro.
Thank you, Ramiro. Thank you for having me today. Thanks a lot.
Big money, no whammies. See ya.
Cheers.